Hey, what's up guys? John here. America has seen its best days. At least that's what top investors, banking dynasty families, central banks, and other countries around the world are all saying and preparing for. When you look at this chain of events that we're walking into right now, you can see one thing and one thing very, very clearly, that the US dollar is in very, very big trouble.
Experts worry that the dollar's dominance may be under threat.
I don't want to be overly dramatic, but I think I will use the word doomed.
And our living standards are going to fall like a rock off of a very tall bridge. That's what's unfolding right now. Inflation's getting worse. The cost of living is getting more and more extreme. Real wages are softening, and we're walking into a situation where they need to sell $10 trillion in treasuries with a T every single year for the next 5.5 years. 50 plus trillion in treasuries. It is unreal. On top of $225 trillion in unfunded liabilities for Medicare and Social Security, this situation that we're walking into is a real problem that we all need to really understand. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly what's going on, show you why 36 countries just applied to join BRICS nations, and where this is all going to go. Please hit the like button. Hit the like button. YouTube will share this content to educate the people about what's going on in America and the world's economy. And today's video is sponsored by Genesis Gold Group. If you're interested in learning about investing in gold or silver, learning about precious metals, or if you have a 401k or Roth IRA interested in turning it into a retirement account backed by precious metals such as gold and silver, you can call 1-800-200-GOLD or click the link in the description just below this video to schedule a call. Take a look at this. So nearly 36 countries are seeking entry into China and Russia-backed BRICS economic group. Member states South Africa said Wednesday, weeks after the body expanded its membership for the first time in more than a decade. Now look at the dates here. It's shocking how fast this is all happening. March 27th is BRICS the new superpower. Then you have April 2nd, today, is BRICS offering an alternative model for global governance. Then you have BRICS new step to end US dollar dominance. Then BRICS has high hopes for new economic world order. What if I were to tell you this has been in the works for decades, and it's going exactly to plan? This is exactly what's going to happen. So it's fascinating. For example, central banks boost gold reserves to diversify from the dollar, right? This is Yahoo Finance saying this. You have CNBC, gold prices hit another record high after fresh U.S. data spurs Fed cut expectations. Then, look at this. Lord Jacob Rothschild, the leading member of the famous exorbitantly wealthy banking family, also prefers gold to the dollars. The Rothschilds have a long history of holding gold. They claim that they supplied the Duke of Wellington with gold to help defeat Napoleon over 200 years ago. And what they said here is the family significantly reduced its position in US dollars in 2016 and purchased gold and other currencies. They are so enamored with the metal that it says it's on the archive website, the history of gold trading would be incomplete without the Rothschilds. And the history of the Rothschilds would be very different without gold, right? Now, what I find very fascinating is the chain of events that we're going to be walking into over the next 6 to 12 months. So this just came out. Fedmester wants more inflation data before starting rate cuts, right? Came out today. There will not be rate cuts this year. I can almost promise you. Everybody was saying that we're going to see rate cuts January of 2023. And then after that, it was every upcoming meeting, we'll see a 25 basis point rate cut. Never happened. Then everyone was saying March this year, we're going to see rate cuts. Didn't happen. Now, some people are saying it'll happen in June. I think a lot of people are realizing that these rate cuts, it's not going to be happening at the same pace which many people expected. Now, what I find very fascinating is this $225 trillion nightmare that America is walking into, that these other countries are not going to be walking into. So as our cost of living continues to rise, when we look at a $20 minimum wage for fast food workers in California, the cost of living in America, even if you're making $20 or $25 or even $30 an hour, still doesn't really cut it, right? People need to make $40, $50 an hour. And that's with today's cost. Now, when we look at, for example, Deloitte saying that we're going to need to spend $50 trillion, $50 trillion for our energy transition. Now, some are saying estimates are closer to $110 trillion. Even McKinsey is saying $9.2 trillion per year for, basically the next 26 years. Like, you do the numbers here, it is an absolute problem on top of this $175 trillion shortfall with Medicare and Social Security. So you add that up, it's $225 trillion on the low end for expenses. We have 127 million households in America. So if you took that $225 trillion over 127 million, it would be an average payment for about $1.7 million, almost $1.8 million per household in America right now. That, considering the fact that the average household has about $8,000 in savings, they say the average net worth is around $62,000 per household. So that would be 28 times the average net worth per household in America, right? How is this ever going to get funded? It's not. They're going to print our dollars into oblivion. That's what's going to happen over the next couple decades. It's just going to continue ramping up, ramping up, ramping up. I mean, look at this. Is it a big deal that 40% of USD was printed in the last 12 months? No, it's not, right? Okay, right? Like this is where America is being pushed. They say that, the government's going to take care of this, right? By pushing all the expenses and liabilities onto taxpayers and Americans. So when you add that coupled with this problem right here, the bottom line is that someone will need to buy more than $10 trillion in U.S. government bonds in 2024. That is more than 1/3 of U.S. government debt outstanding and more than 1/3 of U.S. GDP. Repeat that trend every year for the foreseeable future. That's almost $11 trillion every year until the next 5.5 years. That's happening at the same time when foreign investors have been shrinking their ownerships in U.S. bonds since 2015. Right around the same time, Rothschild stopped, hoarding dollars. So you kind of couple all of this together, and then you look at what China's doing. Their crude oil is at all-time highs, like at all-time highs. Yet we're closing oil refineries, and we're reducing our own access to fossil fuels. So what are we doing? We're increasing our cost basis dramatically. Meanwhile, BRICS nations are able to reduce their cost and grab a moat over the overall global economy and basically chokehold the entire supply chains. Like, you look at it. Look at what's actually happening. Look at the Red Sea. Look at all this disruption that's unfolding right now across all supply chains. It's favoring no one but the BRICS. The BRICS nations are the beneficiaries of all the chaos over the last several years. And in this situation, they say, you know what, China's going to stop. We're going to kind of phase this all out in 2026 to 2030. This is when we're going to start phasing out fossil fuels, but they haven't done it yet. And we all know what's going to happen. They're going to continue to push this out. Meanwhile, we're going to continue to actually move in that direction, and it's just going to give them a massive, massive advantage over all of us. Now, what I find very interesting are dates. Now, when you look at this, decentralization, and then you look at the date here, which is the 18th, right? 2018, May. And what they said here is that the U.S. dollar loses its preeminence. Today's centralized global monetary and financial systems featuring the dominant U.S. dollar mutates into a world with multiple reserve currencies and financial powers of influence. Sounds like BRICS to me, mirroring this shift from the British pound to the U.S. dollar as the reserve asset. As economic importance traditionally leads financial and monetary preeminence, the euro and renminbi are likely to gain importance alongside the U.S. dollar and increasingly meet the world's demand for the reserve currencies and safe assets. And so we're going to start decreasing the use of paper money. And BRICS is talking now about this blockchain project to end the dollar in trade. So I mean, it's perfect. You look at this. You really couldn't make this up even if you wanted to. Right here, logo, and then you look at this logo. Like, this is where we're going to be going. The dollar is going to continue to sink. I mean, look at, for example, what's unfolding right now in the Red Sea. BRICS countries are benefiting from the Red Sea shipping disruptions. The Houthi rebels' maritime assaults in the Red Sea intended to pressure Israel into ending its war in Gaza have inadvertently set a stage for broader geopolitical shifts that are affecting nations and economies far removed from the epicenter of the conflicts in Yemen and Gaza. As these attacks prompt major shipping companies to divert their routes, the U.S. and its allies find themselves at a pivotal juncture. They are confronting the limitations of military intervention in securing the safety and efficiency of vital maritime commerce. The immediate ripple effects intend far beyond the increased transit times and surge in operational costs, as evidenced by the sharp increases in Drewry World Container Index. The strategic redirection paradoxically empowers the economic and strategic stance of the BRICS bloc, weakening U.S. allies, and challenging the traditional dynamics of the global economy. Like, this is all a gift for the BRICS. At least that's how it seems. What do you think about this situation? Do you think that one of the smartest things that Americans can do right now is diversify something from America? Unfortunately, it's a sad reality. I love America. I've always loved America, and I always will love America. But, you know, facts are facts. You're going to see a lot of wealthy people start to diversify. They're going to start getting second passports, second homes in different countries. They're going to start buying gold, silver, Bitcoin. They're just going to start, you know, playing things a little bit differently. They're going to hedge their risk a little bit just because of, you know, the state of the world that we're all in. What do you think about this entire situation? Drop below. Let's have a conversation about this. And today's video, again, is sponsored by Genesis Gold Group. If you're interested in learning about investing in gold, silver, or, you know, converting a 401k or IRA into a retirement account backed by precious metals like gold and silver, you can click the link in the description just below this video or call 1-800-200-GOLD. I'll catch you next video.